Idaho Expressions, a look at the arts in Idaho and the people who create them. This week, Idaho Expressions talks to Tim Rarick and Tom Cooper, two playwrights working with the Summer Theater in Coeur d'Alene.
Well, I see what you mean. Well, I just got moving over to the window here. This whole bit through here has been fairly somber. Okay, so he moves away from her, and he is indeed telling her the story, but it's reflective, and he's trying very sincerely to tell her exactly what happened. No, it didn't happen until we homesteaded this valley.
Okay, would you read like from here, and let me just get a feel for what?
He knew it happened. I fell on the hillside. Has he always been like that? No.
We've talked about this many times, how fortunate we are in that we work so compatibly together. There are times that we disagree with what the other person has done, and have a lot of mutual respect, and can rise above that and move on. But we have a great deal of fun together, which is one of the reasons that I find myself liking this business so much. It's a heck of a lot of fun. It's almost like playing at times. Granted, there's a great deal of hard work that goes into it, but it's fun.
So
what does happen is a very conscientious effort on both our parts. I sound like I'm patting myself on the back here, I'm suddenly feeling. But just a lot of talk and a lot of listening to arrive at something that feels right for both of us.
Maybe when it's true, and Dennis, that's
our first responsibility is to write an entertaining, hopefully thought-provoking play. And we have chosen to use the vehicle of regional history often. And because we've chosen to use that vehicle, we try to abide as much as we possibly can by accuracy, historical fact.
The play reenacts 2 days in the life of May Arkwright Hutton, a hard-driving mining magnate who fought for women's rights in Idaho in the early 1900s.
At the opening of the first day, we are telling the story about her last day in Wallace. Okay, and she is essentially making plans to move to Spokane, perhaps a little prematurely, because her husband has told her that they're not going to go unless this litigation that's going on in Boise is resolved. All the antitrust legislation that's happening. Harry Day is down there to make sure that, or to try to make sure that they get some good contracts, that they can essentially make the Hercules pay.
Tim and Tom do extensive research to ensure the historical accuracy of their productions.
They only lived about a block from where we lived. And I can remember her. There's a picture in her book of her up at the Hercules mine. That's where they struck it rich.
We do try to interview people as much as possible, but a lot of our research comes from books, magazines, library material. But there are other things that come out of those interviews that are very nice. Maybe they're not able to tell us things that we don't know, but just in telling the story as they see it, they bring in a lot of subtext that's very nice. A word here and there, a phrase, a description of the time, something that they say in passing. And in the course of doing some research, I came across her character. She seemed to be perfect for a theatrical character. She was big and boisterous and aggressive, loud and decisive, and seemed like the perfect vehicle for a musical. She was an interesting character. We really started with her and built a show around her, of course.
It was an interesting search. We listened to a lot of people. We advertised in the Spokane paper, asking for a large, energetic, courageous woman, and had a few responses to that. There were a lot of people that we got together with, but the first time that we saw Carol together, we both felt that she was the one.
I laugh to hear the ladies say she has no taste at all. And wouldn't that dress be better used to paper someone's wall? And just to prove they miss the point, they whisper in surprise, Shouldn't she choose a style that would minimize her size? Shouldn't she choose a style that would minimize her size? Minimize. Maximize. That's the point, ladies. Maximize. So I go stepping out, and I get all rigged out, and I add a little clout to my dimensions. Yes, I am out and about in my best bib and tucker, making sure of my intention to be the center of attention. I've got lots to say, come on, and I have found a way. You gotta catch their eye before you get their ear. You gotta catch their eye before you get their ear.
May is one of those kinds of roles that you hope all your life comes along you get a chance to do, because there's all kinds of elements in her.
And it took someone like her to make it happen. And more so than saying that I agree with her political stance, I just admire her determination and her aggressiveness and her uncompromising drive to get things done.
She's a hell of a woman, but no, not the marrying kind. She's too damn determined and arguing all of the time. Lord knows she ain't no beauty, and that's just as plain as can be. She'd make a hell of a wife, somebody other than me. A hell of a wife for somebody, for somebody.
I change me. I am what I am. Need to shout and show off now and then. Need to find what needs fixing and do whatever I can.
And I don't think May could have done what she did without Levi there. She would have ended up, I think, being somebody yelling and screaming in the wind. I think he gave her that balance that let her proceed sensibly.
The relationship just came together real easy. But it was her energy, and Levi was such a subdued person who looked on a lot.
I think both of them were not the kind of people who took a great deal of stock in telling each other that they loved one another. They would show that, but they never really, in their life, would not say that a great deal. And in fact, we've purposely chosen just two places in the play. One place where he says those words, and one place where she says those words. I don't think that they were interested in open displays of affection, but I think that they had a tremendously deep love for each other.
I chose you. I chose a woman with a need to crusade, need to reform the world.
That has its disappointments.
But no regrets. Well, we're off to Spokane. Nice that we have everything packed. Do we have rooms reserved somewhere? Of course. Abby told me about Emma Smith DeVoe. Sounds like you have a battle on your hands.
Oh, new generation of upper middle class Christian temperance suffragettes who don't know anything.
Just don't go making an unholy show of yourself.
I love you, Al Hutton.
Guess what?
What?
The graduating class just came through the back gate. I just feel like I'm going to explode up there because I want to say so much. That's how real it became for me.
We rehearsed in the Hutton settlement, and I sometimes had it, which is a feeling that maybe May was sitting up there on the top of the elk head, hanging at the end of the room, watching all the time. It's sometimes hard to know in any character where you stop and you know, the character begins. There are a lot of kinds of things about May and I that are alike. There are a lot that are very different. I have a whole different kind of family background.
You said you used to make donuts for Mr. Roosevelt.
Right here in this very house.
When, for President McKinley?
Yeah, when I was a little girl. Well, I never was a little girl, but when I was your age.
Gee, how'd you get to meet him?
Grandpa Arkwright. Him. He raised me till I was 18. You see, Grandpa Arkwright was a big man in politics in Ohio. Whenever anybody came through on the train and made a speech, why, Grandpa would introduce him and such. I was always with Grandpa, because he was blind. I was his eyes.
Were you an orphan, too?
Well, kinda. Yeah, I guess I was. Anyhow, that's how I met President McKinley. We had him over to supper one night, and later on in the evening, Grandpa turned and said, "May, aren't you forgetting something?" That was my cue to get some fresh fried donuts. See, Grandpa was proud of my cooking. Mr. McKinley ate 3. Yeah, Grandpa was proud of my cooking. He was proud of all my work. He said to me once, "May, you're a good worker. You'll do just fine. Anybody who knows how to work hard will always be needed. Will always be needed."
The historical accuracy, and it's in as much as Tim and Tom have said, and I trust them thoroughly, there are some things that are creative and inventive. The character of the young girl, as far as they knew, she didn't really have a young orphan living in and around the house with her. But those are things that make for an evening of plot.
What are you telling me?
I'm telling you that the association has hired an Eastern woman to head up the campaign, a Mrs. DeVoe, Emma Smith DeVoe.
An Eastern woman?
And they want to do things differently, different than we did in Idaho.
Well, go on.
Both barrels.
Both barrels?
They don't want you. They think you're too rough, that you lack sophistication.
Well, aren't they perceptive?
They want to create a dignified tone for the Washington
Now,
campaign.
what does that mean, dignified? Who the hell decides what's dignified?
No rallies, no parades, no headlines. They're aiming for intellectual persuasion.
Intellectual persuasion? I know Western men. They don't take to persuasion. Why, you gotta hit them over the head with an injustice before they even know it's there.
They prefer to be more ladylike.
And May Hutton would be too conspicuous, too noisy, too big to hide. Is that about the size of it?
That's about the size of it.
About halfway through the run of the show, Tim said, well, how about when, he said, why don't you start getting used to the idea of Abigail maybe being 70? I said, okay, I will. And what happened was, after watching it so many times, the way it was being played and keep hearing the same lines and so forth, I think some other things came to him that would just work so much better. And so he made her an older mentor of May's, someone who could come to Wallace, tell her those things that May would listen to, because May did not listen to a lot of people.
There are just some things that you do that you're not certain how they're going to work out until you see them. And again, how fortunate we are that we've had an opportunity to see and to be able to rework our stuff.
Gee, I've never met anyone like her.
I've never met anyone like her either. I liked her right away.
When did she ask you to marry her?
She didn't ask me. I asked her.
How'd you work up the courage?
Just up and asked.
There are
Let me see.
certain humorous aspects that seem to fail, that we don't understand why they do, and obviously if something isn't getting a laugh, then it needs to be reconsidered, I guess.
If you get an audience that suddenly thinks subtle things are funny, another audience might not. You might get an audience that has a lot of loud laughers and some that are just kind of chucklers.
Theater is unique in one respect, and that is that you bring all of those artistic elements into being. You know, we have somebody that's artistically motivated towards putting light on the stage and the things that they can do with that. In most cases, we have a choreographer that's interested in dance, a scenic artist, sound people, a composer, a writer, everybody working together and contributing in an ensemble atmosphere, not to mention the actors, of course, but that whole thing coming together. Theater is unique in that way, and that's very exciting for me to have everybody contributing their own artistic skills.
A family is the closest thing I can compare it to. You know, you don't always agree with everything everybody in your family does, but there's that care about the process, and that starts from the director. The director, kind of instills that, and working with Tim, there is that feeling. You know he cares.
You want to do well because you know he cares so much. But when you go into the theater, that's a place to create and to work. And he wants total concentration. And he wants 125%.
It's often a very beautiful surprise to see what he's done lyrically, and inspirational for me. I'm constantly amazed at a new direction that he'll take. In the case of the numbers that we do, the intention is for there to be some real congruence between who that person is and what the music sounds like.
And we can't get another around it.
Another? Hell, we'll use that one. Fix it up, seal it with ore, board up the back end, hang a new door.
But May, it's missing a wheel.
We'll borrow another.
Don't you mean steal?
Look, if there's no way to ship our ore, then there's no need to dig it out of the earth. And if there's no need to dig, there's no need for miners.
I think we ought to wait until we hear from Harry Day.
Right. And while the lawyers and judges are jawing about who's inside the law and who's outside, who's going to feed your families? You think what we're doing is unlawful? Well, let me ask you something. Is it lawful for the trust to refuse our ore? Is it lawful for the railroad to refuse our ore? They have time on their side. While they stall, we starve. Well, I say we don't wait. I say it's time to thunder. Time to take a stand. I'm not about to sit around and pray the Lord will save us. We'd be downright fools not to use the tools the good Lord gave us. These are the times that try men's souls. Now is the time to stand up. And so we just do what has to be done and wait for the law to catch up. Now get to it. This is war, boys. Just like before, boys. The big fish are making the rules of the game. I'd like to propose a solution with a history of success. It's a Rocky Mountain revolution and the Dynamite Express. Now don't you remember back in '92, they waited for winter to tell us we're through.
We're shutting the silver mines down.
We're shutting the silver mines down.
Can't make a profit.
That's what they'd say.
Can't make a profit with the wages we pay.
And there was no room for debate. And there was no place to escape. So we pulled a car to the top of the hill above the mine when the night was still. knowing full well we had nothing to lose. We loaded it down with powder and fuse,
And then we pushed it down the track, and when it hit the mill, we blew it to hell. We blew it to hell.
we blew it to hell and back. Well, this is war, boys. Just like before, boys. The names may be different, the issue's the same. The big fish are making the rules of the game. I'd like to propose a solution with a history of success. It's a Rocky Mountain revolution and the Dynamite Express. The Dynamite Express. We blew it to hell. We blew it to hell. We blew it to hell. We blew it to hell and back. 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 I never thought I'd see the day when the U.S. government would send out troops against its own unarmed citizens. Hundreds of soldiers poured into this valley, and any man found in possession of a Union card was arrested and thrown into an abandoned horse barn. A stockade, they called it. We called it the bullpen. It remains the most flagrant violation of constitutional rights in the history of the United States. The 9th of May, they arrested my husband, called him a conspirator, said he piloted that train of explosives voluntarily. It was nonsense.
Move on, lady.
I'm May Arkwright Hutton, and I happen to know that an investigation has already showed that my husband piloted those explosives to the concentrator with a gun at his head, and he's been cleared of all charges. He's been detained in this filth of a jail for 2 weeks. I am here to tell you, if he's not released this morning, heads are gonna roll around here. Do you understand me? This is war, boys. Just like before, boys. The names may be different, the issue's the same. The big fish are making the rules of the game. But we've got ourselves a solution. Their memory is short, I would guess. It's a Rocky Mountain revolution and the Dynamite Express. The Dynamite Express. The Dynamite Express. The Dynamite Express.
There was one night when the feeling was somehow there was a glass wall between the audience and us. You know, that it wasn't that they weren't enjoying it, it's just that somehow I had a feeling we were a television show that night, you know, rather than being live. But how you, wouldn't know how to write those things down on a piece of paper.
Although the final performance is the reward for months of hard work, everyone involved agrees that the process of creating a play has rewards of its own.
My enjoyment from theater comes from the process, comes from going to the audition, and then if I'm cast, then getting my lines and going through all the dirt work.
We like to be able to control our product, and we can do that here. And from what I know about some of the other markets, that gets harder and harder to do.
I think that live theater is vital. Art in general is vital. I don't think that a world without art is a world worth living in.
I'm flattered that you asked me to address you. My good friend Clarence Darrow once told me I should say only what's absolutely necessary. sometimes have a hard time following that advice. I'm going to try real hard to follow it right now. Keep a little passion in your life. Keep a little passion for what's right. Keep a little fire. Keep a little desire. A will to win and a soul to dare. It's easy to close your eyes, so easy to compromise, to find you don't recognize what you once believed, a world you once conceived. Keep a little passion for what's right. Keep a little passion for the fight. Save a little devotion for the few things you must share. The will to win and the soul to dare. The will to win and the soul to dare.